Today is Tuesday, May 21st, 2024, and welcome to SBA Today. Tanya, what are we doing today?
Well, first, let's chat a little bit, Paul, about the fact that we are live. This is the first time we're full on live. And I don't know about you, I got a little nervous last night. I don't think I slept well. I might have a few bags under my eyes and whatnot until this morning. I got to thinking, you know what? We are just having some fun with this, guys. We're going to try to give you information as our new little line says, likely helpful, definitely entertaining. Well, that's how it's going to be. We're going to do the best we can. We're probably going to have a few bloopers that can't be, taken out, but that's all right. We're going to have fun with you guys, and hopefully we bring you information that is helpful. And hey, bear with us and let us know what you'd like us to talk about. But getting into that today, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to talk about a couple different things. We're going to talk about Kabbage. Oh Lord, Kabbage is in trouble. And a few takeaways from NAGGL and the conference that went on in Nashville. But first, Paul, let me hear some of the things that went on for you last week.
Yeah. Oh man. So last week we've all as BDOs, and regardless of what you do in your SBA world, you have one of those weeks where everything just happens all in 1 week. So we had 5 to 7 deals closing all at the same time. And of course, anytime you have something like that, you're going to have a borrower's tax ID number that may change. You'll maybe get a 4363. Maybe you'll find an error on your loan docs after signing that they have to re-sign. Things like that happen in our business. And no matter how hard we try to be perfect and have a great image to our customers and members, sometimes things happen, right? It's life. Even the most experienced BDOs have some of those issues. So, man, last week I couldn't wait for Friday because it was just everything I said is exactly what happened last week. So, I mean, everyone's had this happen. And then on Friday, our friends at the Washington SBDC posted something that I was like, okay, guys, that was pretty darn timely. And always remember this: grapes are crushed to make wine. Diamonds form under pressure. Olives are pressed to release oil. Seeds grow in darkness. Whenever you feel crushed, under pressure, pressed, or in darkness, you're in a powerful place of transformation. Trust the process. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
I know. I actually printed this and put this on my wall because it's true. We all have that. So have you ever had any of those weeks, Tanya? I'm sure you haven't in your career at all.
No, not at all. Just every single week, Paul. I swear. My most recent was, it's instead of getting to the closing table and then finding out after the fact there's something, it's getting to the closing table at all. And that's kind of where mine has been this week with a particular deal, particular borrower, and getting information that you require and you request. And I've been requesting it forever. I got a little bit direct this week, like really, really direct, like, because it was so darn frustrating that you're trying to help somebody and they've got to help themselves, right? They got to help themselves if we're going to get anywhere. But the nice thing about what you were talking about, that's why we have Arizona Missions. I love Arizona Missions because it tells them, anything can happen. You need to say that you're going to help us correct whatever it is after the fact or after we close. And so I do like Arizona Missions because of that reason.
True. But we all try hard to have like the best, face forward and great experience. And, I lead a large division, so I'm always wanting to make sure that we have the smiles on the faces and the members walk away with big smiley faces. And, sometimes it's just, I don't know, maybe my bar's too high and I focus too hard. I don't know what it is, but
no, I think that happens across the board. I mean, look at like tomorrow. So I'm on vacation from tomorrow through next Tuesday, even though I'll be on Tuesday morning, right? Because my daughter is graduating and she's turning 18 tomorrow. And then she's graduating this weekend. So talk about transformation, Paul. I mean, you go from childhood to young adulthood to adult. That's the transformation. That's the crushed grape into wine, man.
Absolutely. Well,
Anyway, yeah.
congratulations, by the way. Proud mom.
Thank you. I know. I'm very much a proud mom. It's my last one. So now talk about my transformation because I'm going to be an empty nester and holy moly, what's coming down the line? Anyway, yeah, crazy. But okay, so enough about all that. Kabbage. Oh my Lord, y'all. Okay. PPP loans in general. PPP, it, it was a fiasco in and of itself, but it was so helpful. And I know there's lots of conversation out there about it being rolled out so quickly and it left room for fraud. Yes, and there's a personal responsibility for those who committed fraud intentionally and purposefully. The SBA tried to roll it out. Yes, it was challenging, right? But it's because nobody expected a pandemic that was going to take businesses out. They were trying their best to get money into their hands in order to help them grow. Now, I can't tell you how many daggone PPP loans I did, and I did it for a lot of the big banks that had challenges getting it through their systems for one reason or another. And us being a very hands-on manual type bank, you know, we were able to get it done. Now, did it take us time? Yeah, because we were trying our best to do our own due diligence because we knew, and SBA specifically said there was going to be those borrowers out there that were going to attempt to commit fraud and whatnot, right? So anyway, let's get to the Kabbage thing. Kabbage, oh goodness, in the midst of all that, got tens of millions of dollars in order to dole that out to taxpayers and lend to them, or I'm sorry, businesses from us taxpayers during the time of need, right? Instead of safeguarding those funds, Kabbage doled it out, inflated it, did fraudulent loans, knowingly did fraudulent loans. And I got this straight from the Department of Justice's main page, right, from the state's attorney office, that this is what's going on with Kabbage, right? They doled out inflated and fraudulent loans in order to maximize their profit. Now, that just frustrates the tar out of me because during this time frame, the intent behind this was to help our businesses. It was to help those mom and pop shops that were going under because nobody could go visit them. Everybody was, you know, under lockdown. Anyway, so Kabbage then sold its assets and left the remaining company so low on cash that it ultimately went bankrupt. All right. Now, what is it? The office is continuing to pursue the company and the individuals like Kabbage that took advantage of the PPP. I mean, they should, right? So the first settlement of $63.2 million resolves allegations that Kabbage inflated tens of thousands of PPP loans. They wanted to get the higher guarantee loan amounts that far exceed what the borrowers were eligible for, and it put money in their pockets. So they double counted state and local taxes paid by employees in the calculation of gross income or gross wages. They failed to exclude annual compensation in excess of $100,000 per employee, and improperly calculated payments of employees' leave and severance. Okay, wow. The second claim, Paul, the second claim of $56.7 million resolves allegations that Kabbage knowingly failed to implement fraud controls to comply with PPP, BSA, and AML obligations. Says they removed underwriting steps and set substandard fraud check thresholds, even knowing the SBA had concerns about these borrowers. Now, I have so much around this, and I'm sure you do too.
I bet you do.
I'm paying for this. We all are paying for this. It's so frustrating to me because I remember definitely that time frame and what our bank did, and we did not close as many PPP loans for these because we put in extra fraud control. We wanted to make darn sure that who was getting that money was who was supposed to be getting that money. Now, obviously things happen and whatnot, and you don't know what you don't know, but we were doing all of the fraud controls that we were required in addition to extra. So one of the stories I have behind that, I had a hotel call me from Texas, and they wanted a $2 million PPP loan. And this is on round one. So remember, round one was for payroll. It was strictly to keep people on during this hardship. So we're talking about that. And I'm asking about the employees and who they're keeping on and all that. And they're like, oh no, we want this loan because we're going to pay off higher debt on our real estate and all this other stuff. And I'm like,
Of course.
oh, nice, interesting. I was like, so what about the employees? Oh no, we're not keeping them on. And I'm like, right, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Now, crazy thing, they went on to get their loan.
Of course
Don't
they
know
did.
who with. Maybe it was Kabbage.
I was going to say, it smells like Kabbage.
I wasn't about to do it. I was like, yeah, no, you just flat out told me you're not using the funds for what they're meant for. The people that need it aren't getting it because of you. I wasn't going to participate in that. So anyway,
and
that's my
there's
Kabbage story.
Yeah, and I'm sure this is just the tip of the iceberg of things that are just kind of being caught. I know that, and maybe you have, Tanya, or your back office, but I get emails from the OIG now asking for some paperwork and that type stuff. So I mean, it's out there. It's an issue, and I'm shame on Kabbage on that. I mean, and another thing I'm thinking of is, okay, if this is how they did with PPP, how did they do things with the rest of their business?
Oh yeah.
And it really makes me wonder, how you do one thing is how you do everything, as a friend always told me. And how many other customers that not even related to PPP got a high interest, no offense, BS loan, and who knows, it's super sad. It's super sad.
Well, and you know what? Here's the thing, Paul. This is just Kabbage. They caught Kabbage.
Right.
I guarantee you that there's going to be a ton more out there that come down the line that they see what they did. I know there were companies do you remember the error codes? Do you remember the error codes?
Oh,
well,
yes.
I know that there were companies out there with those error codes that were doing what they were doing, right? As far as those error codes saying they're helping all the banks and saying that they're doing this and that also now are in trouble because they were profiting so highly and so over the top on the rest of our dollars, basically.
Well, and I think another thing on this too that I think's unfortunate is, okay, they're going to go after Kabbage, a defunct company. They're going to go after the people. No, they're not. It's just going to be a loss. It's going to be a loss to us, the taxpayer, and it's just going to go away in the sunset of news, and that's it. It's just a loss. And is that fair? No, I don't think so. But
no. But is life fair? I mean,
right. As I tell my kids, life isn't fair. Go in the backyard and pick up poop.
Exactly. Well, it's kind of funny. So early, go in the backyard and pick up poop. Oh my God, that's awesome. My kids always thought I was like the worst. You know what I did? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to go off on a tangent here because you started it. I was definitely the disciplinarian, and I'm from the South. So let me just tell you, from the South, my kids have no darn clue what went on in the South when it came to certain things. So when they would get in trouble, I couldn't do all the fun stuff. But I remember a couple of houses ago, oh my God, when my boys were like, I don't know, probably 8 and 10, and they would get in trouble, I would make them go in the backyard, and we had lava rock. And I hate lava rock in general. I would make them get Home Depot buckets, and they would have to shovel lava rock into the buckets and take it to the other side of the yard because I couldn't find anything freaking work related to make them do. And they hated it. They're like, I hate your Southern discipline. I was like, well, you could have had some of the Southern discipline I had. And I don't know.
Right.
Anyway, total.
And hey, Emily, I'm going to send my son Parker over to clean up your yard. So.
Oh, right. Exactly. Anyway, yeah, go for it.
You're over in Florida. I'm in Seattle. I mean, it's a quick ride.
Can he stay for a while? Can you put him to work? Anyway.
Well, hey, we also had, obviously we had the NAGGL conference that was a few weeks ago, and a lot of really good things came out of there. And again, I strongly encourage any and all SBA lenders to attend any NAGGL conference. The information that you get from there, besides the networking and everything, is just so valuable. And it's huge. So a few things that I just wanted to kind of share with you from my SBA manager geekiness. I love SBA thing. But they really, one of the things that was really exciting is in E-Tran, they finally added a blanket UCC under collateral. Now, Some of you are going, yay. Some of you are going, what are you talking about? Who cares? Well, clearly you don't spend much time in ETRAN, and how many times you've had to try to figure out when you do a blanket UCC and ETRAN. So now we have blanket UCC in there. So now you know. Another thing that they talked about was DocuSign. A lot of people were kind of worried about, is DocuSign still okay, et cetera. Yes, DocuSign is okay from the heads up of SBA. It's okay. Just make sure you have a summary page that has the IP address on that, because you remember that's how we did PPP, right? And so as long as you have that summary page that shows that, then that would work. Lender match. I know Tanya's favorite topic. They've been continuing to. Are you dying?
Oh, like that. You crack. I'm so fond of it.
So they have been doing some KYC and fraud checks on those, and I've been kind of noticing those. I've seen a few that say true or false at the bottom, so keep an eye on those. That's a nice thing. One thing I thought was really interesting is they have been seeing a 20% approval on those lender match leads. 20%. I mean, it's not a huge number, but it's free deals you didn't have before. So I know Tanya doesn't like it when I talk about it because she wants all the leads to go to her. But there's a lot.
I want them all. Oh no, we split, what we do? We split them out. So like my whole team, what we do is we take turns. I mean, we split each day and whatnot of who gets the lead. So yeah, there's never much crossover.
And there's some very interesting ones in there, as I'm sure we've all seen and printed out. 4363. God bless the 4363. They're getting more popular. Sorry. They're really looking into a lot of these EIDLs, which is triggering a 4363 PPP. That'll trigger a 4363. So if you start seeing those, sorry, kids.
Now, Paul, I would tell you got to tell people what that 4363 is, because we
Come on, I'm speaking the SBA language.
Who knows who's watching this?
4363 is the code of death, which means the bottom line is there's something going on behind the scenes, aka investigation, that's going on with that, and it's really hard to clear those. Can they be cleared? Yes. Will they be cleared quickly? Absolutely not. So if you have one, there's a process that you can get on SBA.gov site, but man, it really slows your deal down and is really a big issue. So
it's so frustrating too, because when that happens, it comes back and everybody looks at the bank that it's the bank is going slow, or the bank's not doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's so darn frustrating, because it's like we can't do anything outside of getting it cleared, and sometimes those are a challenge. Yeah. So anyway,
and last but not least, SBA is seeing a lot of working capital that's going into refinance other debt. Shocking. Never heard that one before. They're really trying to crack down on that and trying to, and again, as a good steward of the program, we need to make sure that if it's working capital, it's for working capital. Working capital is not to pay off other debt. We're not order takers. We need to ask questions. And that's one thing that they were really trying to reiterate, is to make sure that that working capital goes to working capital, as it very well should. So those were just some takeaways from NAGGL. And again, I encourage you all. They have the fall conference coming up in Vegas. I'll be there for sure.
Do you see Ray on here? I coined that phrase. Well, congrats, Ray Drew. He coined it. It was a good one. It was a good one. But now we've got to come up with like what it looks like. We're going to have to do like, the guy of death. What is it? Death, whatever. He's coming with his little skip. Is that what it's called? A Skype skip? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know. Yeah.
The hand movements, that's probably not working so well. But anyway, Well, guys, it's been fun. Again, this is our first live. And, we are going to play. We're going to do wrong things. We're going to say some bleeps because, we're just going to say it in a bleep instead of anything else. But anyway,
I'll probably say the bleep. Sorry.
Well, yeah. I mean, there was something I almost said earlier, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't. It might not go over well. Anyway, but we are going to be back next Tuesday again live. Would love to see you here. Come watch us first on or live on LinkedIn and or on YouTube. And also we're gonna be on the other streaming channels, and we're doing a podcast as well. Yep. And we just look forward to it. So hope you guys got some information, as our little tagline says, likely helpful, definitely entertaining.
That's right.
I think that's because of your facial expressions, not mine.
Right.
All right. Have a great day, guys.
See you later.